Like, oh, I got pressure now. Fuck yeah. What's up everyone, I'm Sam. Today we're talking about what fits on the latest, greatest generation of the Toyota 86/Subaru BRZ, which is already on the second generation. So before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that we are using the awesome Fitment Industries gallery to find out what fits on this platform. And if you don't already know about this awesome tool, well, you do now. While you're on fitmentindustries.com, swing on over and check out the most popular wheels, tires, and suspension available for your car. All right, it's the new 86. I love this nomenclature, by the way, a little bit more than the FRS, just putting that out there. And the BRZ got a little facelift and some changes to make these sporty little coupes even better. The best part though, is that a lot of the parts from the previous generation still work. This even includes headers from the old motor, and coilovers bolt right up. Thank you, Toyota and Subaru, for making our lives easier for modifying these cool cars. We'll start on the more conservative side of the fitment spectrum and end up with something a little bit more extreme. All right, so the first one that we have on here is a 2022 Toyota GR86 Base, and it's on some Enkei RPF1 17x9 plus 35, some 235/40 tires, and it is dropped on some Tane coilovers. First of all, I think this wheel combination of the finish on these Enkeis, that kind of chrome look to them with that blue, looks phenomenal. This is kind of, like we said before, a little bit more of a conservative setup. There's no rubbing, no scrubbing. Super easy to just drive this all the time, not have to worry about too much. No mods done to it. It isn't lowered, just dummy low. It is just nice fitment. It has a good square setup, and overall, it has a nearly flush look to it. If you dropped it a little bit lower, it'd probably have a little bit of tuck in the fender well, but overall, really nice look, and these RPF ones fit great with 17x9 plus 35, and 235/40 tire, not being a crazy stretch or anything. All right, so the next car we have here, 2022, going over to the Subaru side of things. This BRZ Limited, because it's fancy, is rocking some Volk TE37s on 18x9.5 plus 43. So compared to the car that we were just looking at, a little bit of a wider wheel, but a little bit less aggressive offset to counter that. I will say these TEs are Monster Energy green, so these are like straight up Daigo Saito's, like these are his style of wheels here. But we are on some Michelin Pilot Sports on 245/35, so that is a little bit meatier of a tire to go with the wider wheel that we have. And these are 18s compared to the 17s we saw before. These are lowered, or this car is lowered on coilovers as well. So a little bit more of an aggressive setup. This has more of a flush fender to lip fitment. There's a great picture here on the rear of the car where there's a little bit of stretch in the tire, and it works perfectly with that rear wheel arch. Really good flush fitment on this car here. As far as mods, there aren't any mods, no rubbing or scrubbing. If you were to go a tiny bit lower though, I think you would absolutely run into that issue with this wheel and tire setup with how low you can go with that. So we're gonna round it out with the craziest setup on here that still works. So this 2022 Toyota GR86 Premium is the fanciest of all of them that we have today, and also is running the most aggressive setup. So on this, we have some amazing looking work VSXXs in 18x9.5 plus 16 in the front, and she's staggered, boys, with 18x10.5 plus 16 in the rear. We are running quite a bit of stretch on the tires here with a 215/40 up front and a 235/40 in the rear, so a little bit more aggressive stretch in the up front department. And we are on some airlift performance air suspension. So fitment on this car is absolutely poke. That's the only word for it. There is some poke going on here. You know, I could go for a Poke Bowl today for lunch, I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely some camber going on in the rear that's added when it is aired all the way out, as you can see in the gallery. There is a 1/2-inch wheel spacer as well with a crazy aggressive offset of the plus 16. There is a 1/2-inch spacer in the front and the rear. Rear camber is -10. So you're gonna get a little bit of camber wear there. And the front camber is -5, so there is quite a bit of camber introduced into this car to fit the super aggressive wheels and the stretch tires on there. But if you're going for that stance look, I think this absolutely kills it. It looks really good, and it is pretty popular within the 86 BRZ crowd. So now you know what fits on the second generation Toyota 86/Subaru BRZ. If you want to go for that lightweight, easy daily setup, some 17x9s plus 35 is a pretty safe setup that still looks really good. I do honestly love the way those RPF ones do look on this chassis. You can also easily go on up to 18x9.5 plus 43 like we saw. Just make sure you watch how low you go. But I'll tell you guys this, if you want that super duper perfect fitment, we got you. Through Novia wheels, we specifically created a perfect setup with 18 by 9.5 plus 38. The tire you want to go with on that setup is a 255/35. It is perfect. Literally, we engineered it to be absolutely perfect. Go with that. I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to browse the gallery at fitmentindustries.com to see what fits the car you have or what you're looking at. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Sam.